All right. Well, hello, everyone that watches this YouTube channel. That's no one. I just got out of seeing the Northman. Um, first initial thoughts. All right, because whenever I do these reviews, it's more so just to kind of get my thoughts out there. The forum, my own opinion before I enjoy looking at everyone else's you know, construction, criticism of the movie because I just really like to just have my thoughts put out there and then, then I know it's my own opinion, it's not formed by anyone else's. So I was really hyped for this movie because, wow, I gotta say, the first trailer for this movie was really well done. It's just there's certain trailers that just kind of really just hook you. Some trailers, where unfortunately they'll just give out way too much information about the actual movie and it's kind of oh man, for example, the one Lightyear trailer, even though I'm really excited for that, the Lightyear trailer, the second one I think, where it kind of, it's if you thought about it hard enough, you probably would have gotten it, but the whole, I guess, spoilers if you haven't watched the trailer yet, but it kind of explains about how Buzz has now traveled to the future because of light speed or whatever, and so everyone that he did know before, they're all dead. And he's far into the future. And not gonna lie, the first trailer didn't show any of that. It just showed him exploring and space stuff with Buzz. But that one trailer, I was like, fuck. It's kind of I was really not wanting to know that. So just there's certain trailers that just they'll put out just way too much of good content or stuff they may want to keep hidden in the trailers. But yeah, the Northman trailer though, that was didn't really. It just gave a very basic plot. Kid wants revenge. It's a Viking movie. That's all it was. And oh my god, I loved the echo, of the phrase, I will avenge you, father. I will save you, mother. I will kill you, Führer. Or whatever his name is. But, I really enjoyed the trailer. So I was hyped from the get-go. And Robert Eggert, I think his name is. God, I'm too lazy to look it up right now. But anyways, I know he did The Witch and a lot of other movies. But The Witch, though, that's a movie that I was wowed by. That was an amazing movie. Really well done. Very big shit happened at the end. Very good, cinematography. Really just good. Again, very good music. Very good, just audio. What was it again? Audio. Sound, I guess. And this movie, speaking of sound, wow. This is a theater experienced movie, this is the kind of movie that if you just get at home, unless you have really amazing speakers, it's you're not really going to get the full effect because some of the the yelling and the screaming and the deep bellowing of the music of Northman music, the Viking language, that kind of it can only be experienced at a theater, because I can feel it, in my body while I'm watching it. So definitely, if you get a chance, go see the movie in theaters because, a lot of the, a lot of the pull and coolness of just this movie is from the sound that you can feel. Kind of in the Batman, that was also a very good sound driven movie where a lot of the sounds were just very, again, whoever does the sound design for the Batman and this one, just wow, because you can just feel it in your bones. So that's kind of a weird first thing to kind of mention. Again, this is unscripted, so I'm just kind of speaking whatever comes to my mind first. But the first thing I can even just think about that I was wowed by was the sound design, sound mixing, and whatever. Just really well done. So as for the story, it's just about a young kid. Not gonna lie, don't remember his name. It's I think the problem with me is that I've gotten so used to subtitles, so a lot of times even when it's yelling in my face, I can't really hear what they're saying. So I got a lot of it, but his name, I don't remember his name, Alfheim or something. That's a fucking world in Norse mythology. I don't know. But, the main character, the Viking kid, when he's a kid, he grows up. So, he's, oh, I love you, father. You're a cool Viking king. Oh, shit. The uncle comes by and kills the dad, and then the kid gets away, and he's like, I will avenge you, father, I will save you, mother, I will kill you if you, and so it's just a revenge story, a classic, oldest time revenge story. So you're not really gonna get a lot of deep, thoughts about this, and you're not really supposed to. And that's one of the things I had to accept halfway through the movie because with Robert Eager, oh my god, this is gonna make me look so dumb after I'm done recording this and I see his name and I'll be like, oh, that was his name. I'm so dumb. Again, unscripted, so everything just bad. But just knowing that he was a part of this, I think I may have set my expectations a little bit higher than I should have because I'm watching it and I'm trying to get into the story, and at first I'm like, I don't really care, because it's a couple of scenes, very small amount is dedicated to the early portion of his life, so when he's a kid it's not very long, you don't get a lot of time, you just have a very basic, kid loves his dad dies, kid's gonna avenge his dad, jump forward in years, and I'm never a big fan of the jump in years kind of thing unless it feels really seamless. And I'm not gonna lie, it's just me. And again, I don't know if it was made purpose or not, but the way of how fast it jumped to him being an adult, which is the meat of the story, it's kind of you had to have that very small beginning thing to, spur him on his quest. But it's just, it didn't really feel long enough. That's weird because it's a 2-hour and 17-minute movie. And I'm a sicko that likes long movies if they're done well. So, not gonna lie, a small part of me is God, I wish it was 3 hours. Because, here's the thing. I've seen a lot now of Viking content. Because last year or 2 years, I think it was last year. Yeah, last year I finished the Viking show. The older one. And the last season came out last year, I think. I think it was last year. God, I don't remember. But I really like that show. Fucking blew my expectations out of the water with that show. Of how good it was and how true to the source material that it was, it was gruesome, it was beautiful, bloodiness, great Viking stuff. Then I've been watching Vikings Valhalla, which is, it's okay. Definitely not on par with Vikings. I'm sorry. I know it's a sequel, and it's set hundreds of years later after, Ragnar Lothbrok and his gang and whatever. But yeah, Vikings Valhalla. This is going on a tangent now. But Vikings Valhalla is okay. It's not bad, but it's not as good as Vikings. But anyways, so I'm just saying I've been seeing a lot of Viking now stuff, kind of in a good span of time where I'm getting into the culture, understand some certain things from just TVs and movies. So anyways, so after watching this, maybe it's just I've been kind of spoiled from how good the story was from the show because it's a show, you have a lot more episodes to elongate certain characters, flesh them out, make you care about them. So while watching this, I think I fell into that where I'm I don't care, so this is really a good movie. Let me hold it. So at first I was I don't really care about this kid. Why should I care that he's out for revenge? This is kind of boring, basic. But I have to remember, this story, as supposedly from what I've heard, I did a little bit of digging and kind of reading up on it before I did a review. But apparently this is based on the original story that inspired Hamlet and Lion King, the whole, uncle kills father, the son goes out on his own thing, comes back for revenge to save his mother, blah, 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 so it's kind of based on that. So feeling this is very basic by the books, it's supposed to be, because it technically is one of the first. So after I kind of learned that, I kind of had to pull away a little bit and not expect a really grandiose story. I thought it was going to be more grandiose in some way because Robert was a part of it, so I thought, it's going to be really psychological Viking shit, and it wasn't really that, but kind of like that. So I don't want to go on for too long about this, but, so, the first half of the movie, I was kind of okay, it's fine. It's not bad, but it's very basic by the books. Don't really care about the main character so much. Then, excuse me, the last half of the movie, though, that is this little special little thing. The last half of the movie towards the end, all right? right there when the main character gets to his uncle's farm, because apparently, and I kind of like, it was kind of funny when the uncle killed the king. Apparently, his reign was like very fucking short, and him and his clan or his family got chased away because a new person came along and became king, which is kind of hilarious. So now they're in Greenland now. So they all ran away all the way to Greenland, and now they're stationed over there. So then the main character travels all the way down there, becomes a slave, so he can kind of like, hide, get himself in Greenland to, and be around his uncle without his uncle really knowing who he is. So at that point, though, it starts getting really fun and really interesting. A lot of fun scenes. It's not really important, but it kind of elevates the main character where he gets more respected. He gets more respected after this incident where they're playing like some kind of Viking sport. Oh god, the theater was laughing at this part. There's a scene where the young boy of the uncle's son, the youngest, he's like rooting for the main character's team and they're losing, and the kid's like, "No! Why are you losing?" And there's like the kid runs out in the field, grabs the ball, and starts running for the goal, and the bigger guy on the other team just comes along and slaps him in the face, and the kid falls over. He's like, and like he's bleeding, and I'm sorry. I don't know why everyone else is laughing and I laugh too. Just the way the kid just easily fall over and he's like bleeding to death, and it was so fucking funny to look at. And then the main character comes along and just grabs the guy and headbutts him to death. Like, oh my god! Again, sound design, the squishing and the crunching of the skull against skull was like, what? Like that, I was like, whew. Oh shit, wow. So that was, again, as a very small scene in the movie that I really enjoyed. And so what happens is that the main character doesn't really want to kill, like apparently because, okay, again, I'm flying all over the place, but he has to find a sword because there's no weapons that he can get on that. Well, I mean, okay, this is one thing. I guess it's weird that, like, he has to find a magical kind of sword to defeat his uncle or whatever, even though, like, there's plenty of weapons around him. And as it's shown in the movie, he can sneak around as much as he wants. So I'm kind of like, why don't you just grab a sword from the armory? But again, maybe it's because he doesn't want anyone to be up to suspicion, like, hey, where's my sword? That kind of thing. So I guess it makes sense because the character goes on the main little quest in the middle to get a magic sword. And this is where the first real kind of like mystical Norse mythology stuff comes in. Because before the classic, like oracle, like, your fate is sealed kind of thing. And we all seen all the ones. But this, for some reason, he goes into a little cave kind of thing, like this mummy's like holding onto his sword. He grabs it, and the mummy comes to life and fights him, It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And then he defeats the zombie monster thing, and then it pans, and I guess it was all in his head, or maybe it wasn't in his head, but the zombie's back to where it was sitting down, like nothing happened, and he grabs the sword. But that scene right there, so far, all these Viking shows and whatever, like they always kind of get into the spiritual, like, part of the Viking lore stuff, but never too deep, really. And I'm not gonna lie, after now watching this, I just really, and not a Thor movie, like Marvel. No, I'm talking about like an actual, actual movie, actual like, lore movie. But like, I kind of want to just see some Viking, spiritual, like heaven, like, Valhalla shit, We're always just talking, we're just like, or I don't know, like just have a lot more like mystical stuff in these Viking stuff, I kind of now seen enough of just like little hints and pieces of it and more just all Vikings, but Viking lore is like really interesting, like Odin, Allfather, Freya, just Thor. I don't know. I think I would really enjoy seeing if we ever, not Vikings Valhalla, because they're not going to do that, but just another Viking show that ever comes out, but just have some scenes, have some scenes up in, Valhalla. I don't know, because I really would like to see how that would look. And this movie, it teases it, it has a lot of scenes where it's kind of like showing Valhalla and showing, oh, I don't know if that affected my video when on low power, but like I want more of that, you know? I want to see more of this awesome mystical stuff. I don't know what it's not mystical. Magic? I don't know. I just want to see more of that, you know? But anyways, so this movie has a lot of that, and once it started kind of like delving into more of this weird shit, I was like, okay, now we're getting into it, you know? Because, again, the story so far was like kind of like, it was, you know, again, average revenge stuff, so it wasn't really interesting. But then his revenge plot, though, is not just to kill his uncle, it's to torture him, you know? Like the plagues on Egypt, because so for the rest of the half of the movie is a lot of him just kind of fucking with his uncle and his family. Like, you know, like he kills some people, he makes some people go fucking crazy with the mushrooms, you know, with his girlfriend or whatever. It's the girl he met on the slave boat, and she's played by Anya Taylor or whatever. You know, she's great in it. But you know, she's just a girl. There's nothing much more about her in the story. But yeah, it was really interesting seeing all the shit he was doing to them and make them all fucked up. And then it kind of did a little bit of a twist where he was like, you know, the whole phrase, "I will avenge you, father. I will save you, mother. I will kill you, Fiora." His mother is kind of insane. Yeah, fucking lets him know, like, hey, hated your first father. Your uncle loves me a lot, and you know what? If you kill them, I'll fucking marry you. And then she kisses him, and I was like, no, because you're like this close in the thing. I'm like, please don't kiss him, please don't kiss him. And then she's like, I'm like, oh, why? And she's all fucking like, what are you fucking doing? It was crazy. But I like the twist though. She's kind of just so fucking insane or whatever, you know. Anyways, so all that happens, you know, so, then I forgot what, then they find out that that his girlfriend was helping him along the way, and before the uncle can kill her, he comes out like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, and apparently you can't oh yeah, I didn't even mention this, apparently he can't unsheath the sword, unless destiny calls for it, I guess. I don't know, because there's a lot of scenes like where they're like, and they can't unsheath it. Even he can't do it, and that's why that's the reason why he ends up not just killing his uncle outright. He hides it because he realizes that, oh, fate, my destiny is not completed yet. You know, it's kind of like fate has more in store for my uncle than just killing him. So like he just, you know, he can't unsheath it until destiny arrives and whatever. But so. Yeah, then he gets captured, tortured, and some ravens let him go because it's Odin or his father, or like, hey, son, he gets free with his girlfriend. His girlfriend lets him know that she's pregnant, and he's like, okay, I'm out. Like, no, but he's like, well, if I have children, I will live on, you know, and so, but I cannot live, and knowing that my uncle is somewhere out there, you know, I will never just, you know, I will never feel safe. So then he jumps off the boat, and he goes for his uncle, and he kills his mom and his brother-ish, the kid that got hit when I was talking about the little story. And he kills both of them. And then his uncle comes in and he's like, I will meet you in hell. And then he just walks away. He's like, sure. So what hell is, and this is the last act of the movie, they go to a fucking lava mountain that has erupted. And, you know, I forgot... There's a certain phrase for this kind of like archetype. No, not archetype. What is it? Just thing in the movie. So like, if you see a certain thing in a story that is of relevant importance and is not used, it will be used at some point further on in the story. Like for example, spoilers for Breaking Bad. There is the thing called ricin, you know, and it's spoke about in like the first season. Because Walt and Jesse want to kill Tuco, you know, so Walt talks to Jesse about ricin, you know, it's like a poison, you know, very poison, you can't taste, and you will not feel until a couple of days later, and then you're dead. But it's mentioned in like the first season, it never gets used, never has gotten used until the fucking ending of the series when he gives it to Lydia, and Lydia dies. But after all that time, you know, you have it, if you bring in something in the story of some, again, relevant importance, it has to be used sometime during the story. The ending, the middle, it doesn't matter. It's going to be used mostly towards the ending. So, when they show the first fucking the first fucking scene in the movie is of a volcano. You know, it's not erupted. It's like, you know, it's smoking. It's, you know, but like it's like a growing. And it's kind of, I guess, to symbolize. Maybe I'm guessing right now, to symbolize his hatred, his growing revenge. You know, it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't on when he was a child, but then as the years went on, it just started to build up and build up until the very end explodes into a fiery lava goodness. So we get a little bit of an Obi-Wan and Anakin fight, and there's some lava. I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty badass. I liked that. And so yeah, he's fighting him and his uncle, and they're fucking. It's really cool. And again, like this, you know, the music and the Viking like whoa kind of thing is like really intense. Then his uncle slices both of his arms. He's like, oh, I can't use them, and then he uses them. So that was what I didn't get. It's kind of like, it looked like he had severed some, like, you know, like some nerve endings where he can't use his arms, but then I guess he can. So he's going like, whoa, and then he slices his uncle's head clean off, but in the process gets stabbed in the heart, dies. Then we see a Valkyrie come down and take him to Valhalla. So yeah. Yeah, that was the movie. And yeah, again, towards the later half of the movie, it started getting really interesting just because it had a lot of like fun scenes, you know, of like the revenge plot. And it started, kind of got me thinking about like the plagues on Egypt from like Moses or whatever. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably the only one that's gonna be seeing this kind of like, you know, imagery because I read the Bible and stuff like that. So I kind of saw a little bit like Joseph, you know, like coming back. Actually, no, it's not like Joseph. Yeah, it's more like Moses, yeah. I thought of Joseph in the beginning, now I'm thinking about it, there's no Joseph stuff in there. But no, a lot of Moses shit in here. They're like, you know, taking down, you know, Pharaoh, or in this case, Uncle, about like a lot of plagues, and, you know, he and Pharaoh thinks it's like, you know, all the gods and, you know, angering, whatever. But, yeah, it was really fun to watch that. Again, very good imagery, very good cinematography, of course, because it's a very big budget Viking movie, so very good at that. A lot of like pull away shots, and like you can see them all being small, so like the grand scope is like, you know, you can feel it and sense it, just so large and vast. Good dark colors. Okay, not gonna lie, before I made this video, I saw apparently there's a one take battle scene, and this is when we see a little bit of him being a Viking before he goes off to see his uncle in Greenland. And I don't know what was up with me, because I usually notice these, but I don't know, I guess I didn't even notice that it was a one-shot scene. But now I'm thinking about it, yeah, it's him, like, you know, falling down the bridge, the wall, slicing some guys, and he walks around, slicing them, walks around, slicing them, you can see it all pan out. I didn't get to appreciate it. I'm like, wow, I fucking missed that. Like, that's bad. I don't know why I didn't even notice it. It's like, it should have been like clear to me. Maybe at that time I was still thinking if I liked the movie or not. So I guess I was like distracted, I guess. But yeah, no, I liked the movie. It was really good. Again, I just, no, you know what? Because I'm going back and forth and like, did I want it to be better? And I'm kind of thinking like, I don't really see how it could have been better. I guess maybe, in my opinion, I wish it was longer, so we could have more time to get used to the characters, I guess, or make me care about it more. But again, it's based on like an old story, I guess, so I can't really knock it for that. It was 2 hours, so like to put that much in there, I think it was as good as it could be with that given amount of time. But everything else, though, I thought was like really well done. Again, it didn't feel the smooth storytelling that I've seen some movies have. Like, I feel like the Batman, you know? Like, that was so smoothly, you know, perfectly paced. Like, everything was just, like, a perfect straight line. And it just, I love that movie. And that was 3 hours. And this one, I feel like, I don't know, maybe just the jump in time stuff I've never been really a fan of. I don't like that, even if it's done well. I don't like the fuse a couple years later kind of thing. But all in all, though, like, it definitely was a fun experience. I will say that it's a perfect Viking movie. It really is. Maybe I would have liked, again, a little more, like, magical stuff in there. But, and I keep saying yeah. But no, I liked it a lot. And I think that a lot of people should go see it in theaters, though, because you're going to get a lot more bang for your buck if you go see it in theaters. Not at home. When you're in theaters, you will feel it. Oh, and this is like, I'm going towards the end, but I guess I forgot to mention this. I do appreciate more, and this one had it more than in the Viking TV show. It showed the animalistic side of Vikings, you know? Like, we all see them go, rah, rah, like that, but in this one, they felt like animals, you know? Like unleashed, unrestrained, that's the same word, I guess, but just uncontrolled animals, you know? So you felt a lot more of that ferocity and a lot more of that, you know, like that just, kind of feeling, you know? Vikings had that too, but just, I don't know, this one, maybe it's because they were going, a lot more than the Vikings one. So maybe that's why it was more apparent to me, but I don't know, this one, it just had a lot more of like a, and here's what also, because I did see a little bit of a review before I did this, but I will say that this one, it kind of showed, you know, because when he's a Viking before he goes to Greenland, you know, Vikings and pirates, you know, they pillage and they plunder and they rape and they, and they, you know, they kill innocents. And I don't know why the Viking show, never really felt it, I guess, but in this one, they fucking just take a bunch of kids and women and just toss them in a barn and put the barn on fire, and the main character just kind of looks at it, you know, like, and it's trying to maybe show a little bit like, oh, he doesn't really like that, but it's like, it's still showing you, like, looking at not doing anything about it because he's a Viking, you know, so, but, like, it shows, you know, like, there really is no good people in this Viking world, you know, like, there is no, like, good Vikings or bad Vikings, they're just Vikings, you know, they're just ravage animals, you know, going off of instinct, you know, just pure anger and rage, you know, and like just the intensity of it. And that is what I like about Vikings, you know, like the whole thing, like they just are full on, head on, just attack, no thoughts, just attack. Because the more you attack and the more you fight, the better your chances are to gain into Valhalla, you know? So it's all about attack your enemy, hate, you know? So, like, you can really feel that, you know? But yeah, I think this is a really good movie. I really do. A good Viking movie, you know? Again, maybe I would have appreciated a lot more of a more tight line story, but again, it's based off of a actual story, so again, I'm just repeating myself at this point. But anyways, go watch it. I think it's a great movie. And yeah, that is my take on it. Okay, see you later, alligators. Bye.